Hey there everyone, ni hao, this is Choquito and today I'm gonna share with you 7 services that are cheaper in China than in your country. Yeah, I want to say that in reality in China, there's so many things that are cheaper than in North America, in Europe, Australia. But today I want to focus on different services that are cheaper, not just things that you can get or buy. And an important thing to note in mind is that I am in Shanghai, which is the most expensive city in China. So probably the prices of the things I'm talking about would be 15 to 30% cheaper in any other city of China. Yeah, anyway, too much talking like always. Let's start. Let's get to it. Okay, so the first service that is cheaper in China than in your country would be massages. So you can find pretty much any kind of massage that you want in Shanghai, be it foot massage, oil massage, Thai massage, full body massage, whatever you want. And no, I'm not gonna talk about the kind of massage you want me to talk. I know there's some naughty people over there. Yeah, so you can find any kind of massage. Most of the time it's pretty cheap. Especially I would say foot massage are pretty cheap, body massage, and those massages made by blind people. They can range from, I would say, 60 RMB per hour to around 300 for the normal prices, let's say. And if you want a bit of a better quality or with something more special, you would get a great massage for around 200 RMB. And the best part is that you can find many of these massages pretty much in every neighborhood. Within probably 500 meters of where you live, you're gonna find a place that does massages. Every single neighborhood has them. Unfortunately, in my case, I'm extremely ticklish, so I cannot get any kind of massage. So I don't enjoy of this perk living in China. But most of my friends, most of the foreigners I know, and most of the Chinese people I know as well, they get a massage maybe once every 2 weeks or maybe once a week, depending on the person and what they do. But it's something pretty common and very accessible here. It is so windy out here. I hope you can hear me well. Anyway, so the second service that it is pretty cheap here in China would be deliveries, and that includes all kinds of deliveries, not just items, buying online things, but also whatever you want to send to any of your friends, and most importantly, food deliveries, of course. Online deliveries, I would say, are actually free, depending on the item that you buy and the price of the item, of course. But most of the time, you don't have to pay anything extra for the delivery fee. Then, if you want to send something to your friend, let's say a very forgetful friend that forgot his hat in your place and he really loves that hat, then you can just send it back to his house on the same day for 12 to 20 RMB, depending on the service that you use. There's a lot of people selling stuff online as well, let's say secondhand stuff, and if you want to get some of that, they can send it to your house on the same day using that kind of service. And of course, the most important one would be the food delivery fees, which most of the time are between 3 to 7 RMB. If it's a place that is kind of far away, they might charge you 10 or a little bit more. But most of the time it's just 4 RMB, sometimes nothing. You don't even feel the delivery fee, to be honest. It's basically like buying food without having to pay for the transportation, What was the third thing? Okay. Alright, so the third cheap thing in Shanghai would be transportation. So there's lots of kinds of different transportations in Shanghai, and all of them are cheap, to be honest. Let's start with the metro. So for the metro, you would pay between 3 to 6 RMB most of the time for any ride, basically, that you're gonna take. Then we have shared bikes everywhere in the city, which are amazing, and you pay 1.5 RMB per hour, which literally, it feels like riding for free. That's nothing in Shanghai. Then you can even take a ferry from one side of the city to the other side of the city, crossing the Huangpu River for 2.8 maybe, yeah. Then I never take the bus, to be honest, but I think the bus costs around 2 RMB, and that's also very cheap. All of these options are less than $1. And let's talk about taxis, right? So there's so many taxis in Shanghai, and let's say anywhere in downtown you would pay no more than 35 to 45 RMB if your distance is, let's say, the longest within downtown, and very often you pay just the minimum fare, which would be 16, sometimes 12, 20 RMB, which is very, very cheap. And let's say if you live a little bit farther from downtown, you would end up paying for a 30-minute ride 40 to 60 RMB, which is still very cheap. So yeah, basically in the city we have tons of transportation options, and all of them are very cheap. Okay, so the fourth cheap service that you can get here in China is haircuts. This one is a little bit more relative because there are so many different hair salons with a very wide range of prices. But let's say it can be as cheap as 30 RMB, and on average would be between 50 to 100, at least for guys' haircuts, you know, something more simple. And also I want to say that the haircuts are usually done very quickly, you know, within 15 to 20 minutes you're done and free to go, you know. And many of the salons, they would wash your hair before doing the haircut, you know, then sometimes you get like a shoulder or a head massage, then you get the haircut, and sometimes they wash your hair again, you know, after doing that. So it's like a full service, and it's quite an enjoyable process, you know, you feel very relaxed. So next time you're coming to China, don't forget to grow your hair a little bit, you know, and get a haircut here, because not only you get a cheap haircut, but also you will enjoy the whole process, you know. Oh, and I have seen like a kind of haircut here that is definitely way cheaper than anything else, which happens outdoors, you know. Basically there's like a shushu somewhere there on the street, and he's cutting someone, you know, just standing there on the street and just giving him a haircut. And sometimes you see some people queuing up, and I don't know how much they pay him, but I assume that it's not too much, you know. Of course the quality probably is not gonna be as good as in a hair salon, but if you want to go cheap, you can go really cheap, you know. That's what I'm trying to say. Just take a look at this spot I just found. So nice. Hopefully it's clean. I didn't check. Anyway, who cares? Okay, so reason number 5 was eating out. Basically, I would say it's just something normal that everybody does, because half of the population every day eats out. So it doesn't feel like it's a treat that you're giving yourself, you know, like in our countries when we eat out, it's just like we go with the whole family or with friends or on a date. But here is a necessity. So many people do not have time to cook at home. Basically, I would say there's no difference almost in eating out and cooking at home, you know, price-wise. Very often actually things that you would cook at home if you want to eat a little bit more healthy would be more expensive than eating out. And of course some of the places are not so beautiful if you want to eat something very cheap for, let's say, 12 to 20 RMB. But you can also find fancy places that do not have very high prices, you know, if you want to eat out. And that is something that is quite amazing actually, that the great majority of restaurants, even those that look kind of fancy, are more or less affordable. It's not like something that you cannot do at all. But if we talk about places that are cheap, doesn't necessarily mean that the food is not going to be high quality, because many of those very cheap places are actually really, really good. Let's say for a normal person, if they want to eat out, they would be spending between 25 to 70 RMB, let's say, you know, depending on what they want to eat. But if you want to go cheap, you can go cheap. It's getting so much colder now. The sun is gone. Anyway, let's talk about the last one, which is getting a maid, a nanny or a cleaning lady. Basically, they are called here ayis. Most of my friends, most of the people I know, I would have an ayi coming once per week to their house to clean it. I would say in most cases an ayi would cost you between 30 to 60 RMB per hour. You know, and most of them do a very good job. In some cases you can also ask for ayis that cook. You can ask for ayis that would take care of the kids, or even ayis that would live with the family. But these kind of ayis are a little bit more expensive, you know, compared to other countries. It's still fairly affordable to have this kind of services, you know. Personally, I have an ayi that comes once a week, and probably she hates me because I'm pretty sure my room is the messiest out of all the rooms she has to clean. But I'm very thankful that she comes and cleans it, you know. It saves me so much effort, you know, and especially makes my environment much nicer for working, you know. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for your support. Please don't forget to leave a like, to subscribe if you like this kind of content and you want to see more. Anyway, that's it from me today. I'll see you next time. 再会。